Hello everyone, welcome to the KZGN News. Today we're bringing you news from Sacramento. More details of Wednesday's City Council meeting, a job fair coming to Ridgecrest, today's KZGN Talking Points editorial, weather, sports, and much more.
From the Rademacher Hills to Bee Mountain and the mighty Sierras, Ridgecrest to Inyokern and China Lake, this is your news for the Indian Wells Valley with the KZGN News crew.
Hello, I'm Tom Winnick. Thanks for joining us for the news affecting Ridgecrest and the Indian Wells Valley. Now from Sacramento. Concerning the vote the other day on Senate Bill 3 to increase the state minimum wage, Senate Republican leader Gene Fuller issued the following statement. Poverty reduction in California is extremely important, and that is why we must address energy, housing, and education costs to make California more affordable. Here's her statement.
Mr. President, members, and guests, this approach today that we have been debating might make sense for big coastal cities in California who have already voluntarily passed their own minimum wage increase, because the ability to do that exists, and communities that want to do that have gone ahead and done that. They have relatively low unemployment with a high cost of living. But this is not the case for all of California. Emerging from the recession has not been equal across this state. Some inland cities, especially valley cities like Bakersfield, Fresno, and other countless rural communities, especially in my San Bernardino County area, these areas do not have the same cost of living problems as some California, especially coastal cities. $150,000 home in Bakersfield costs over $750,000 in San Francisco. For every $1 you spend on cost of living in Bakersfield, you have to spend $2.30 in San Francisco. And the list goes on and on. However, while it is less expensive to live in Bakersfield, our unemployment numbers are startlingly higher than the coastal communities and some other of the big cities in California due to overregulation and cost-driving factors that we haven't been able to fix. We have suffered from legislative policies that didn't work and a regulatory stranglehold on industries that traditionally supply countless jobs. Of the 10 most populous California cities, only 2 of them have unemployment over 6.5%. It should be no shock that these 2 cities are situated in the valley, with Bakersfield at 9.6% and Fresno at 11.5%, almost double the state average. A one-size-fits-all approach would have extremely negative consequences for a very large number of Californians. That is why a blanket approach is wrong. While this piece of legislation does provide certain off-ramps, and those are appreciated, it does not take into account the wide disparity of unemployment rates between counties, as legislation from other states has. Let the local governments and communities decide for themselves what works best. They know their facts. They know their circumstances. They want to thrive. Before the residents of some California communities are even able to think about the cost of groceries, they are faced with the fact that they cannot get a job. They cannot put food on the table in the first place. I urge a no vote for the constituents of my district.
Thanks to Gene Fuller for the statement. Now here's more details of a couple items for the Ridgecrest City Council meeting coming Wednesday evening. One item will be a presentation by Gary Parsons on the distribution and use of TAB funds. These are the almost $25 million the city got the last time they sold bonds to fund the redevelopment agency. Since Sacramento did away with redevelopment agencies, the Ridgecrest Authority was formed to manage the remaining dollars under the supervision of the State Department of Finance. The current distribution for the $24.9 million is as follows. Public Works is using about $12.2 million. Parks and Recreation will use about $3 million. Economic Development will use about $3.2 million, and about $6.5 million will be used on special projects. The $12.2 million on Public Works was for various road construction, the new corporation yard, traffic signals, and other public works projects. So far they have used $9.5 million of the $12.2 million allocated. For the Parks and Rec allotment of $3 million, they have allocated only about $440,000. The rest is still in limbo for projects yet to be determined. So far they have purchased a new concession stand for $207,000, and they have paid for about $240,000 in studies for new parks facilities, new facilities like a new aquatic park, expansion of the Kerr-McGee ball fields, and other studies. For economic development allotment of $3.2 million, they have spent $26,000 on Balsam Street branding, Chamber of Commerce got $100,000, and about $2.9 million was spent on economic development. Approximately $2.5 million was granted to business startups in the city. RACVB got $55,000, and $250,000 was allotted to code enforcement. So that leaves about $7.8 million still uncommitted. While the funds are allocated for certain areas, they are still not on contract for anything specific. The city is also trying to tap these funds to support their lawsuits against the state in two areas. First is a suit over funds allotted to a senior citizen project, and a fund to pay for a solar plant the city installed using TAB funds. So these suits will have to be decided to finalize TAB fund spending. Also within these funds is about $2.2 million is going to be spent for infrastructure around the new Super Walmart project. These are infrastructure improvements the city decided to help pay a fair share of the costs, while Walmart is also paying a substantial amount for some of those infrastructure improvements. And the final item on the agenda is about the fountain at City Hall. In light of the current drought situation in the state of California, Mayor Breeden has requested that the City Council discuss the amount of water used by the fountain located at the City Hall Kerr-McGee Community Center complex. There have been some citizens critical of the city continuing to run the small fountain at City Hall. This fountain uses so little water that it is insignificant. However, critics say it's the principle of the example. If the city doesn't cut back water use, why should the people? Truth is, the city has cut back in its water use in many areas already. Turning off and covering the fountain would be nonsense and do nothing to reduce water consumption. And it is a nice feature for the City Hall complex. And even on some hot summer evenings, you can find people sitting by the fountain enjoying the little coolness put off by the water in the fountain. Staff recommends no action be taken and the fountain remain operable. So there is still a lot you can provide your inputs on to the City Council on the issues. To do so, make sure and show up Wednesday evening at 6 p.m. The meeting will be at City Hall. Now here's a report from KZGN-TV field reporter Tanya Pyle. The Kern County Department of Human Services 2016 Job Fest Series continues bringing employment opportunities to every region of Kern County. Kern County's overall unemployment rate is over 10%. The Job Fest Series is just one way the Kern County Department of Human Services is working to improve the lives of children and families in Kern County communities. The Ridgecrest Job Fest takes place this Thursday, April 7th at the Kerr-McGee Center, 100 West California, right here in Ridgecrest. It goes from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. The Ridgecrest Job Fest draws job seekers annually, offering free admission, opportunity to connect with local employers, job variety, and assistance with creating your resume and completing your application. Here are a few tips to remember. Dress professionally and wear comfortable shoes. Bring copies of your resume or master application. Bring a black ink pen and notebook. Do not bring your children. Children will not be admitted. Ridgecrest is the 5th location in the Kern County Job Fest series of job fairs throughout Kern County. If you are an employer or business seeking to network your business, today is the last day to secure a booth at the Thursday Job Fest event. There is still time to email Robin Lipscomb at lipcor@kerndhs.com or send a fax to 760-499-5200 and reserve a booth today. Don't miss this opportunity to market your business to the local community. Learn cost savings incentives for your business and collect hundreds of applications. Space is limited, but today is the last opportunity to complete your participation form. Arrive early to choose a prime location for your booth. This is an opportunity to highlight your business through creative display. Bring promotional items and bring a large supply of applications for Thursday's Job Fest. That's this Thursday, April 7th, from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Kerr-McGee Center, 100 West California, right here in Ridgecrest. Now stay with us. After the break, we'll have the 130-second KZGN News Talking Points editorial. Thanks for staying with us. Now it's time for the 130-second KZGN News Talking Points editorial. Here's today's topic. Did you see the disrespect towards our state senator, Gene Fuller? Well, earlier in this newscast, I showed a video of our state senator and minority whip in Sacramento doing a short speech on the floor of the Senate chambers. So this editorial is not about the comment or the topic of the speech. It's about how her fellow senators were conducting themselves. Here's the short part of the video again. Pay attention to the people in the background, not the speech.
But this is not the case for all of California. Emerging from the recession has not been equal across this state. Some inland cities, especially valley cities like Bakersfield, Fresno, and other countless rural communities, especially in my San Bernardino County area, these areas do not have the same cost of living problems as some California, especially coastal cities. $150,000 home in Bakersfield costs over $750,000 in San Francisco. For every $1 you spend on cost of living in Bakersfield, you have to spend $2.30 in San Francisco. And the list goes on and on. However, while it is less expensive to live in Bakersfield, our unemployment numbers are startlingly higher than the coastal communities and some other of the big cities in California due to overregulation and cost-driving factors that we haven't been able to fix. We have suffered from legislative policies that didn't work, and a regulatory stranglehold on industries that traditionally supply countless jobs.
So, did you see the two senators behind her? They couldn't care less what she was saying. Instead, it was the seating of a young boy to watch that got the attention. Then another senator came and said hi to the young boy. Then another senator came in and sat down by the boy. Then the two senators picked up their phones and started reading or texting on them, neither of them giving any attention to what she was saying. Is that rude or what? Can you imagine our city council doing that? What if they sat up on the dais and held private conversations amongst themselves while people spoke from the podium? We wouldn't put up with that for a minute. It just goes to show how little regard the liberals in Sacramento value anything the Republicans have to say. They control the Assembly, they control the Senate. What do they care about a Republican or conservative point of view? Nothing. That's what it is. Nothing. Boy, you'd think that the Speaker of the Senate would at least require that attending senators at least be seated and at least listen, at least act like they care about what the Speaker is saying. God forbid they might even hear something that makes sense. But they are so under the pompous attitude that they just let the opposition spout off and then just ignore anything they say and do what they want. Not what we may want them to do, but only what they want to do. After all, they know what we need better than we do. I mean, I don't care that a young boy got to sit there. That's fine, I guess. But what were these men teaching this young boy? They were teaching him that being rude is okay. Ignoring a person that has the floor is okay. Disrespect for a fellow senator is okay. This is outrageous conduct. Heck, if they don't want to hear what she had to say, get out of the chamber. Don't just horse around the background. Show some respect. Even sitting there texting is a touch better than talking and joking around with another senator behind her. These guys were just waiting for her to get done with the obligatory time she was allowed, so they could just ignore everything she said and pass the bill. If anyone thinks that's working with the other side of the aisle, I have a bridge to sell you. So that's the conduct of some of our elected officials. I wish those elitist know-it-alls were our representatives. I'd do everything I could to hold them accountable for their rude behavior. The two political sides are so far apart, they don't even respect the other's rights to speak, let alone work together. When they won't even take 3 minutes to listen to the minority speaker, these elitist liberals are not nice people. They show no respect for the opposition. and showing no respect for the opposition even shows a total disrespect of our supposed democratic process. In conclusion, these politicians should start respecting each other. When someone is speaking, is it too much to ask to just sit there and at least make it look like you're listening? Or is it better to show your complete lack of respect for your peer by talking, joking around, texting, and just completely ignoring a fellow senator? Mr. Speaker, I rest my case and yield back to the chair. Tom Whitnick, and that's what I think. I'd like to know what you think. If you have any comments about this editorial or would like to discuss or recommend a topic, I'd like to hear from you. Please email them to info@kzgn.net. Thanks for staying with us. Now here's Lane with the weather.
Thank you, Tom. From the National Weather Service, well below normal temperatures, threatening some cold temperature records, are expected across the eastern U.S. into Tuesday morning, with freeze warnings in effect. Meanwhile, windy conditions with snow showers are expected across portions of the northern Rockies and Plains Tuesday as a winter-like storm develops. Temperatures across the nation. Carolinas at 41, Georgia at 66, Arkansas at 64, northern Texas at 81, Arizona at 80, and Los Angeles at 71. And for us locally, tonight, clear with a low around 56, northeast wind 5 to 10 miles per hour. Wednesday, sunny with a high near 90, south-southwest wind 5 to 10 miles per hour. Wednesday night, partly cloudy with a low around 57, east-northeast wind 5 to 10 miles per hour. Thursday, partly sunny with a high near 84, west-northwest wind 5 to 10 miles per hour. Thursday night, a 30% chance of showers, mostly cloudy with a low around 56, west wind 5 to 10 miles per hour. Friday, a 40% chance of showers, mostly cloudy with a high near 73, southwest wind 5 to 10 miles per hour with gusts as high as 15. Friday night, a 30% chance of showers, mostly cloudy with a low around 50, south-southwest wind 15 to 20 miles per hour with gusts as high as 25. And Saturday, a 30% chance of showers, partly sunny with a high near 74, south wind 5 miles per hour. And that is your forecast for the IWV. Now back to Tom.
So that's the news for today. All of us at KZGN-TV know you have a choice in what you watch for your news. We all thank you for choosing KZGN-TV, Ridgecrest's only locally owned community TV station. Now stay tuned for Ridgecrest Talk, coming up next.